with the player they ended up taking. The Steelers were at 21. Mekhi Lemon was on the phone in Pittsburgh. He ultimately said that he was where he was meant to be when Howie Roseman took him at pick 20. So as a Steelers, two-time Super Bowl champ, Steelers fan, how do you feel? And also, what does this mean for A.J. Brown?
Well, for me, as a Steeler fan and being a former Steeler, it feels like I got punched in the stomach. Honestly, unexpected. I wasn't prepared to hit this to be punched in the stomach because clearly the Steelers were willing and was ready to select Mekhi Lemon, a guy who I really love in terms of what he does at the offensive side of the ball. And I think the Steelers never thought that Philly would do business with a divisional foe or vice versa, with the Cowboys doing business with the Philadelphia Eagles. But voila, it happened. And this is what Philly has done because according to our very own GM here, Howie did the same switcheroo on you, right? Pull the rug underneath you and moving up because he felt like there was a guy you was going to get, so you don't get him. Guess what he does? Trades up in front of you.
Jalen Carter, right?
Jalen Carter, yeah. Right? So I respect Howie for understanding and working the room. And for me, it's like, ordering a meal from your favorite restaurant and your mind is fixated on getting this meal because they have it every Tuesday, like a Tuesday special, right? And they have it.
Oxtails.
Whatever it is.
Taco
Tuesdays. And you know what? I'm going to get oxtails. I'm going to get some tacos on Taco Tuesday, whatever the case may be. And when you get there, they tell you, oh, we just ran out. What? No, that's how I feel right now being with the Pittsburgh Steelers because you had your guy and you was on the phone and he thought he was going to be a Pittsburgh Steelers and then instantly Howie traded up in front of the Steelers to go get Mekhi Lemon, who I think is going to be a fantastic player because I love what he did at USC. So great job by Howie, tough for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Pete, what does this mean for A.J. Brown?
What does it mean for A.J. Brown? I think he's going to get traded. I think he is gone. And to be honest with you, I think that thing had run its course. I think a lot of things had run their course in Philadelphia. I mean, you look at the Eagles, the stories coming out about Jalen Hurts, and believe me, we've heard a bunch of stories that are going on in that team. And some people said that maybe A.J. Brown isn't even the worst problem on that team. So the reality is I think he's going to be traded. I think he wants to be traded. I think New England is in play for possibly being traded. And it makes sense to get him out of there.
So Rand.
Remember, they also got Wicks from the Packers.
I was going to say, they have Dontavian Wicks. They signed Hollywood Brown. Yeah. Now they have Mekhi Lemon and obviously Slim Reaper and Devonta Smith. Are they going to get a first-round pick for A.J. Brown?
I think it remains to be seen.
I don't think they do.
We know Howie. He is going to press for one. And if he can't get a straight-up one, he'll try to take multiple picks. That will give the. Go ahead, B-Mac. I see it on your face.
Yeah, because we're hearing all kind of rumors, right? We don't know if these are clean rumors or dirty rumors, but we're hearing rumors about the Patriots trying to figure out what's going on with George Pickens. George just signed his franchise tag today, right? And we thought he would wait so he wouldn't have to show up for anything. But with him signing that tag today, clearly he believes there's a suitor for him in terms of trading for his services. So if you're Howie, if you're the New England Patriots, to Pete's point about Patriots and A.J. Brown, maybe I understand you have a June date that you need to be mindful of, right? But understanding and knowing the New England Patriots had a 31st pick, not knowing what their pick could be next year, and knowing that you would much rather have a pick this year, wouldn't you try to make something happen now?
Well, I mean, to your point, if indeed George Pickens signed the franchise tag because there's a potential trade option, now it becomes a true negotiation because it's A.J. Brown, I'm assuming, A.J. Brown.
Hypothetical.
Or
George Pickens.
And so now
But A.J. Brown's still under contract. And so
and you would have to pay
trade with George Pickens, you're going to have to pay him.
Well, you're going to have to pay. You're going to have to do something for A.J. Brown anyway. You're going to have to convert some of that money.
Right. You could do like they did with Dexter Lawrence.
As a GM, why would you trade away one headache for potentially a worse migraine?
I didn't say I would. I'm just.
But is that?
But you're talking about who are you talking about?
You send away AJ and you take on George Pickens. Why is that better?
No, you're talking about George Pickens going to the Patriots.
Oh, I got you.
Because clearly we've been hearing ties with the
Patriots want a wide receiver. AJ Brown's here, George Pickens is here, and now maybe they have an opportunity to play each other. And if that's the case, then the price might come down on AJ Brown.
I see. I was in my own thoughts here.
He's Haitian from Canada.
But yes,
That's a whole story. I got lost in my own
And
thoughts.
also, too, to Pete's point, with the Eagles acquiring Wicks and now getting Mekhi Lemon, it's almost like you're trying to find a way to move AJ because of
Here's the
wide
thing,
receiver room.
but you also lessen your negotiation
correct.
power.
Right.
Yeah.
You're
By
now-
making
now-
these
now
moves,
you're-
now it's like,
right.
look, you have to move on.
You have to move them.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to the Dallas Cowboys, where I think George Pickens still plays there. I was confused for a moment. I got my notes right here. I do know this: they traded up one spot and got Caleb Downs, and then they traded down a few spots to 23 and got Malachi Lawrence. I give that an A.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And by the way, I'm going to sit here in late April and say it. The Dallas Cowboys are not only going to win the damn division, they're going to be a legitimate Super Bowl contender. And how many times have we heard that in Dallas, right?
A lot.
Oh my God, this is Dallas's year. You know what? For all the criticism that Jerry Jones has taken, and believe me, a lot of it is deserved, when this team takes the field and the way they're constructed right now, new look defense, you add those guys to that defense, you add a pass rusher with twitch, you add the guy in the back end, the Dallas Cowboys are going to score a ton of points on offense. That team is going to be a Super Bowl contender, and they will win the East.
Oh, I thought you was going to say they will win. I thought you were going to
No.
be that definitive in April that they were
No,
going to
not
win the Super
yet.
Bowl.
Not yet. I got to see more.
Listen, I won't push back on that at all. I love what they've done this offseason, because bigger than going to get all the players that they've gotten, starting in October at the trade deadline, October, November, whatever it was, you go get a new defensive coordinator. And not only do you go get a new defensive coordinator, you get it from a division opponent and that holds a defensive structure that you have probably struggled with. So now you get to implement that, and not only are you getting to implement it to help your team and be a nuisance to other teams, but now you face it every day. And now you have a game plan in place to beat that defense that you're going to have to play twice a year in Philly. So I love what Dallas has done. Again, I don't think there's anybody that's outdrafted Dallas over the last 10 years.
They've done a good job.
And I would love to see someone put it side by side, because the draft and player acquisition hadn't been an issue. It's been the retention of these guys that has become more of an issue. So we say Jerry, we say Steven. I'm going to throw Will McClay in there.
Yes.
Because Will McClay has done a hell of a job. And at some point soon, we're going to see him running someone's organization and turning someone's organization around the way he's helped turn.
They need one more addition,
linebacker.
because they don't have a second-round pick.
Yeah, they don't pick again for a little bit here.
Till
They
the
don't pick
third
again
round,
till
right, Ryan?
Pick 92.
So at 92, they can find, if they can, Trotter is still on the board.
Yeah.
This off-ball linebacker class is so deep, he may be gone. They're going to find somebody else.
Yeah.
But here's what, 100%, don't disagree. But and the reason why I'm bringing this up, because I have said this probably the last 3-4 years about the Rams linebacker core. They need a linebacker.
They're not very good.
But they've never addressed it, and they continue to be a really good defense.
Cowboys, by the way, one quick thing. Line, quarterback.
All right, before we take a break, I'll ask you all. Over under 11.5 next year for the Dallas Cowboys.
Over. I'll go over.
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 Man, you guys just fall right in line.
Star, baby.
All right, let's take another quick break here. A lot more to come. First round post-draft coverage.
I didn't like that at all. And I mean, look, I'll be real about it. I think when you look at the way the Rams are constructed right now, and you have a quarterback who's probably in the last year, a guy who's done a lot for your organization, including winning a Super Bowl, I think it was in your best interest and their best interest to go get somebody that can help them right now. And this guy doesn't help them right now.
I don't think anyone would disagree with that. And we've talked about weighing the pros and cons, going to that system. So Rotosurgeon put this out on Twitter, and I say that. I want to get your thoughts, Ram, because you've worked with Les Snead, Sean McVay. You've been in the John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan building as well. So here's what Les has done in recent years. They drafted Gerald Everett at 44. They traded up for running back Darrell Henderson. They drafted Cam Akers after the very next season. Tutu Atwell over Creed Humphrey, and the list goes on and on. But my point is, are we cherry picking because this team has won Super Bowls with the front office and the coaching staff, or is this a situation where we're fine because we know that Ty Simpson is going to potentially the best landing spot for Ty Simpson?
I mean, I appreciate whoever put that out. You know, I mean, it is what it is. Those are the facts of it. But it's easy in hindsight to go back and cherry pick and say, oh, well, this pick didn't work out, or you should have took this one over that one, because it's easy to say you should have took Creed Humphrey. I don't even remember at that point what the construction of their offensive line was and if they even needed that position. So to me, that doesn't even matter. Where I give the Rams the credit, and B-Mac hit on this earlier, is they've hit on key positions later in the draft that has allowed them to build their roster, because all their earlier picks, they traded for proven commodities, so they had to hit. And not only that, you traded for proven commodities, you had to pay those people, so which meant that the rest of your team had to be filled out with younger draft picks, and they've been able to maximize that. Again, I hear both sides of the argument in terms of getting Matthew Stafford on his way out, some weapons that you're going to need. But I think it was them hedging their bet, understanding that we have a good football team as it's currently constructed, and we may not be in position next year to go up and get a quarterback that like the guy we have this year that we know we like. And because, again, we're going to talk about it ad nauseum, probably starting on Saturday with the way too early stuff that we all do. But well, you. Speaking French.
The royal we. That's right.
I'm from Canada. I'm from Canada. I'm speaking French. But the point I want to make is this. When it comes down to it, you can't hedge your bet on all those guys that are coming out next year at the quarterback position.
That's right.
Right. We know it's going to be a lot. We said it was going to be a lot this year.
Yeah,
we saw what that was. And just even some of the lists that I've seen, I don't know of the guys that I've seen so far, because I haven't seen everybody, that I would love all those guys as first-round picks. It's probably still going to be a smaller amount.
No, but there's probably 12 of them that are right now potential.
You keep saying that, but let me ask you this.
Okay, where was Simpson last year?
But let me ask you this. If there's even 5, Ty Simpson is not as good as the 5 that you may materialize.
No,
okay.
He's not.
I think that's wrong, but that's
okay, 2 off the bat, you could say, right? Manning and Dante Moore.
You said you weren't crazy about Dante Moore.
He's better than Ty Simpson, and there's going to be guys that emerge. Where was Ty Simpson a year ago?
He was backing up Jalen Milroe.
Okay, so somebody's going to emerge like that at least.
Every year, to Pete's point, every year that's the case, right? We understand that.
But also you said earlier.
But also to Rand's point, Ryan, real quick, if you're the Rams, you visualize having a really, really good year once again.
Right.
Right? Every year they're a playoff caliber team, right? And we know that. Every year they have Super Bowl aspirations. So what happens if they win a Super Bowl? What happens if they lose in the Super Bowl?
What picks do they have next year?
Right?
Well, how many picks do they have next
I
year?
think they have 6. I'll double check. But
Okay, if they have 6 picks, if you want to go get one of the quarterbacks, you could go get one if you liked them.
But
guess what? You still can't fill out the rest of your roster, because you're going to have to give up everything to go up and get it, and you still can't. You still can't get them.
Especially if you're picking in the 30s or the late 20s.
Okay, but is 13 this year better than 28 next year?
Yeah.
It is?
Yes.
You know that?
Because it's higher.
Does that mean he's a better player?
But all I'm saying,
what if there's 6 quarterbacks that are going to be first-round picks next year?
The what ifs. We're talking about the what ifs. We don't know. We know right now what the board said.
They just drafted a what if.
When was the last time the Rams had a pick in the teens? Right?
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time because they've been good. So if you're Les Snead, if you're Sean McVay, who I trust Sean McVay's football eye. Right?
I do too.
So if he says, you know what, Matthew Stafford, as long as you understand what we're doing, right? The transparency is there. We're going to take this guy. You're our guy for this season. We all believe you're going to walk away after this year, regardless of what happens. We're going to groom this guy, right? So now next year, regardless of what happens in 2026, you're in a better position because you have your quarterback already in waiting, right?
Let me ask you
real quick. Remember with Joe Flacco, right? Yeah. He was still he had good years left. But what did Baltimore do? At 32, they took Lamar Jackson. Right. Remember, Hayden Hurst was the first pick because they had 2 first-round picks that year. They took Lamar Jackson. Everybody said, what are you doing? Right? And it played in their favor. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying
you see Lamar Jackson and Ty Simpson?
No. I'm talking about the position.
I get the position. I understand the importance of the position. Believe me, there's 2 things you have to have in this league, or 3 things. Good offensive line, good defensive line, but first and foremost is quarterback. So I get the importance of the position. I just think, I don't think Ty Simpson's worth the 13th pick. That's me. Mm-hmm. I also don't think that there's going to be a year next year where you're looking at that draft class and you go, hey, maybe Ty Simpson wasn't. these guys aren't better than Ty Simpson. I think you're going to six or seven of them are going to be better than Ty Simpson.
I think we all.
Why are you rolling your eyes? You just
No,
automatically know that?
I was about to agree with you. I was about to
he
say.
was about to agree with you.
I think we all agree were the words that are about to leave my mouth. That Ty Simpson at 13, no one had that on the bingo card. I think Pete is right. But B-Mac's point earlier when we talked about this is that it's okay to plan a year ahead with this player because you're starting from ground zero next year if you draft that quarterback at 29 or 30 or whatever. I think that's the only difference.
The point I want to bring across, and I was already in scouting, but I was at the Rams, ironically enough, that we're talking about it. So we weren't in the market for a quarterback the year that Patrick Mahomes came out, right? Because the Chiefs traded up to 10. I believe it was 10 to take him, and they had already traded a second-round pick to get Alex Smith. So I'm posing a question to Pete because I didn't watch Patrick Mahomes coming out. Did you think Patrick Mahomes, forget what we know now, did you think he was worth the 10 pick?
You could go back and look it up, and I was a big Mahomes guy.
He's been talking
I
about
was
that
one of
to
the
death.
few, I was one of the few guys that would actually on Patrick Mahomes. Look it up. I'll bet you anything you want to.
You didn't answer the question. Did
Yes.
you?
Yeah, because and I was going to say
Did
because
I
we
think
forget.
he was this good? No. Did I think he was going to be really good?
But no,
Yes.
did you think he was worth?
For Arizona has nothing to do with Jeremiah. And then at 32, 29 picks later, I think my math is there, Jadarian Price, his teammate, goes to the Seattle Seahawks. Who got the best value? And are you okay with a running back going as high as 3, which was 3 picks higher than Ashton Genty went last year to the Raiders?
Yeah, I would. A short answer, yes, because I think Jeremiah Love is a better running back than Ashton Genty was coming out, and I think he's going to be a better player. But you talk about value, right? You talk about overall value. The better overall value is going to be the running back at 32. Why? Because you're going to the best team in the league that just won the Super Bowl. So it's a more established team. And just like Ashton Genty, when he went 6th overall, went to a team that had a bad offensive line, didn't have any playmakers around him, so teams were able to focus on him and shut him down. Whereas you put Jadarian Price in Seattle's offense, now you have a quarterback. You have a number 1 wide receiver that just got paid. You have other players around where he won't be the focal point. So I think from a value standpoint, I think the running back at 32 was a better value than 3 just because of how the whole team is constructed.
I agree. Everything Rand laid out, I perfectly agree with him in terms of what Jeremiah Love is going to face, play in and play out. Let's just highlight the division, the defense he's going to see in the NFC West. You're going to see Seattle's defense twice a year, right? We know how tough they've been, especially the way Mike McDonald has a hold on that personnel. You're going to see the Los Angeles Rams defense, Jerry Verse and the crew, twice a year. San Francisco, right? And we all assume they will have a clean bill of health, healthier than what they were not this past season, which will make things a lot difficult for Jeremiah Love. And oh, by the way, the quarterback situation is still open for Arizona. So, yes, you talked about the structure, the stability. Jadarian Price is going into a situation where they are the Super Bowl champions, right? The offensive line, I love the continuity they have. You can say whatever you want to say about Sam Darnold, but he understands and knows how to work whatever offense they will have.
You know what Sam Darnold is? Super Bowl champ.
And Super Bowl champ. And you got JSN, right? You got a proven commodity at most teams. When they face off against you, they got to worry about where Levin is. So Jeremiah Love is a great player, but he's going into a very, very difficult situation in terms of what he will face.
Let me set you up, Pete. This is going to, if you miss this layup, you're cut from the team. Who's going to be more productive next year, Jadarian Price or Jeremiah Love?
Jadarian Price. And by the way, you know how I felt about Jadarian Price.
You've talked about him
as
for a while.
it relates to.
You said it wasn't that big
I
of
didn't
a
think it was
gap.
that much of a difference.
Yeah.
Look, one has home run speed. Don't get me wrong. There are only a few guys that can do what he can do when he hits the hole and he's gone.
Jeremiah.
And Price can't do that. But Price can make people miss. He's tough. He can get outside. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. People, he only had 18 catches, but he can do it. They didn't throw it to him a lot.
He had 2 kick returns, so he can do a little bit too.
37 yards per kickoff return. That tells you he can go a little bit. So I think when he gets in Seattle, he's going to put up some really good numbers. He's going to be a guy that's perfect for what they want to do. And they want to run the ball. That's the basis of that entire offense.
Honestly, if you look at Price, his style of play, it reminds me a lot of Kenneth Walker, but he catches the football out of the backfield. Better than Kenneth Walker.
I think he's going to be better
And
than
he
Kenneth.
ran 4-4 at Indy. So he has the home run speed. We just didn't see it.
This is lesson number 1 for everybody out there. John Schneider, I'm going to give you big props, buddy. You had a running back who won the Super Bowl. Oh, my God, he's a free agent. You got to bring the Super Bowl MVP back. No, you don't. Off he goes. What do? You reach back behind you grab one, you draft him, and there he is. And you know what? He'll be better. He'll be better.
It pains me to once again agree with Pete, but if Jadarian's going to be more productive in year one, he's going to a better system. We all agree on that. Were there better options at 3 than Jeremiah Love for a Cardinals team that has what feels like rosters full of need?
In my opinion, no. In terms of, yes, let me back up. Yes, just because of they need so much. Yeah. But the unfortunate part for Jeremiah Love and who he is from an ability standpoint, who he is as a young man, and the excitement that he brings, this was bigger than a football player move at number 3, right? Like, let's call a spade a spade. Like, this organization needs to sell tickets. They need to put butts in the seats. They need to give this fan base something.
As a GM, you can't draft that way. You know that.
But again, every one of these picks don't fall on just the GM.
Right.
There's somebody, you look in most of these draft rooms when everybody's and high-fiving and bro-hugging and there's a person that signs everybody's check.
Right.
That's sitting there.
And what
that has to be on board.
What do you say about the owners?
They don't fire themselves. Okay. So there's that person that's sitting there and has to be on board with every one of these picks. Again, I don't know. I know what was being reported. Yeah. That's none of my business. But what I'll say is, if you're the Arizona Cardinals and the fate that you have suffered over these it's been a while, right? You need to give that fan base something to be excited about. You need to sell jerseys. You need to give them a reason to want to get up off their couch on Sundays to come fill that stadium.
Well, I'll say this: they will be exciting in September. But October, November, December, I don't know if they will have too much excitement going on.
They don't have a quarterback. That's first and foremost the problem. But
listen, you sell the tickets early.
Yeah, that is right.
You sell the tickets early.
What fan is going to go? If you're an Arizona Cardinal fan, why are you going to go buy tickets to watch Jeremiah Love play when the team stinks?
Let me even follow up on that. So, Rand, what if they had traded up in a reasonable world to 29 and taken Ty Simpson in that offense that you keep talking about? Wouldn't that create a better likelihood to win football games?
I would say yes, because again, they don't have the answer at quarterback, right? They don't. That person is not on their football team. Yeah. And no disrespect to Jacoby Brissett, I love who he is as a human, love him as a leader, love what he has brought to every locker room that he's been in. However, we know Jacoby Brissett. We know what Jacoby Brissett is. That person that's going to lead them to the next level, it's not in that locker room. We give the Jets so much BS about getting Geno Smith and trading for him, but the stuff that they did today and what they've done in free agency is continue to build around them to at least give them a fighting chance to win some games this season, whereas I don't see that in Arizona right now.
Here's the other part of this Love-Price situation. One is now, I think, the 6th highest paid running back in the National Football League, and the other one's a lot cheaper.
But Rand's pointed out that the salary cap, at the end of the day,
it matters. When you're paying a running back that much money when you walk in the door, that's a lot of money for that position. And the whole idea that he's going to split out wide and do this and that, no, he's not. He's going to be a running back.
And Pete, this is where I push back on you, because to me, and we see the numbers here on the screen, the guaranteed money. To me, this is a flawed argument, right? Because you look at Jeremiah Love and Ashton Genty both on rookie deals, right? So no matter who would have been taken at 3 or who would have was taken at 6, that's the same amount of money, regardless of the position, because that pick is slotted. Yeah. It just so happened that both of these guys are running backs.
If you're getting a defensive end in that spot, the value is much greater as relative to the rest of the contract.
To me,
all right, look, I get it. We got plenty of time to talk about this. I want to get to the most important thing here. B-Mac, I'll ask you. Let me check here. Oh, Carnell Tate went 4th. Is that higher or lower than when Jeremiah Smith will go next year in the 2026 draft?
I think Jeremiah Smith will go lower. I think he goes.
Well, Pete said they're 8 quarterbacks, so he's at least going to go 9.
I think, I know we're projecting, but in terms of what he's done and what he will do this season, along with having a really good quarterback to throw him the football and Julian saying, anywhere between 1 to 3.
So I want to mention that because you guys give me a hard time about Carnell.
But that's not the argument either, by the way.
I know. I was making a joke.
You said that he was better.
It's okay for you to be wrong every once in a while. You had a big night tonight.
There's not one person up here that agrees that you were right about that.
Well, you know who does agree with me? The Tennessee Titans and Cam Ward.
No, they don't.
Is Cam Ward better off today than he was 24 hours ago? And let me ask you this, because last year they drafted Eli Minor out of Stanford. He's not a burner. Tamiri DK is a burner, but he's unrefined as a route runner. Gunnar Helm. Carnell Tate doesn't give you the juice. Would they have been better served taking Jordan Tyson, or do you think this is going to work with Carnell Tate?
I think it all depends on what the value they have for each guy. And maybe the medical concerns played a part in Jordan Tyson not being the pick for them at 4. But I'm okay with them adding some type of weaponry to their offense because I view them potentially going Jeremiah Love if he was available at 4. You need to improve the offense. And I understand Carnell Tate might not have the juice like some of the other wide receivers in this draft may have, but he is a baller. He knows how to play football. Now, how will they utilize him in the offense? Do you have him more of an outside guy, maybe an inside
Well, that's all
guy?
he does.
You know what I mean?
He only played outside.
So, but that's what I'm saying. Do you have a game plan for him? Because some of the names you mentioned, they still have Calvin Ridley as well.
Well,
Calvin Ridley
but also off of that, Wan'Dale Robinson was signed this offseason,
Right,
so
yeah.
he'll be in the slot.
Yeah, right. And they gave him a lot of money.
It'll be Carnell Tate, and then it'll
Ridley.
be some form of Ridley and Ayu Minor on the outside.
Yeah.
But to something that Pete and I, we talk about this every Sunday. We talk about guys not having that vertical threat in their offenses, not being able to push the ball down the field. And this is more than just a Tennessee Titans problem for me. I just want to know how you're going to stretch the field. And you look at the teams that are in this division, you see the moves that the Colts made to shore up their secondary, going to get Sauce Gardner. We know what the secondary is in Houston. Jacksonville is building that complete defense. Where is the threat to push, to stretch the field vertically, to open up those seams short to intermediate?
Yeah. I mean, you know how I feel in terms of what the 40 times says, right? So I think for Tennessee, they feel like he plays faster than what he ran there at
It was a
Indy.
strange pick. It was a strange pick.
But I can't knock them for trying to
Thank you.
improve the offense to help the young quarterback out in year 2. And clearly Brian Daboll had something to do with this pick as well.
I would have taken Styles in that spot, hands down.
Well, we'll find out shortly. Right now, we're going to take a quick break, though. When we come back, we're going to talk about the 2 New York teams and what they did.